Students, hope you will be fine at your respective places. Today we are going to study the secondary growth in dicot stems. First, we will discuss what do you mean by the growth. Growth, it may be defined as the permanent change in the length, in the width, in the size, as well as it may be the changes which may occur within the what we will call as the mass and volume of an organism. All those changes which take place, they do not take place at a single time, but all those changes they take place over a long period of time. The growth in the plant, it takes place by means of the special types of the cells which are mainly found at the apices, which are called as the meristems, and the main characteristics of those cells is that they always remain in a state of division. When a plant it starts its growth, when a plant it's sprouts out from the seed, when or it arises from any vegetative part, it grows into a plant with stem, with leaves and roots. In the beginning, what we will see that this plant, that this initial plant or this seedling, it grow towards upwards and it grows towards downwards, and this growth, what we will see, it is called as the primary growth. And here we will see only what we will see that the plant, it only grows in its length, it only grows in its length, where we will see जो हम देखते हैं कि जो मेरिस्टेमेटिक सेल्स है दे are found at the apices of they are found at the tips of the stem, they are found at the tips of the root, and the cells which are found at the tips of the root, which are found at the tips of the stem, they are meristematic, they remain in a continuous state of division, and they helps in increasing the length of an organism, that we will see that the plant it elongates in both ways, and the upwards, and then we will see the downwards, that is towards the shoot, towards the root. Now after this, with the passage of time, हम ये देखते हैं कि जो प्लांट में एक और ग्रोथ हो जाती है, दैट व्हाट इज दैट ग्रोथ, जो प्लांट होता है इट इंक्रीजेस इन इट्स सर्कमफ्रेंस, इट इंक्रीजेस इन इट्स ग्रेथ, दैट ग्रोथ what we call as is known as the secondary growth. The growth which takes place, जिसमें हम देखते हैं कि प्लांट, पहले हमने प्राइमरी ग्रोथ में ये देखा कि प्लांट only it increases in its length, that it elongates, while as in the secondary growth what we will see that जो प्लांट होता है with the passage of time, after attaining, जब ये प्लांट जब होता है, आफ्टर वी विल सी आफ्टर पर्टिकुलर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, आफ्टर सम टाइम प्लांट जो होता है इट स्टार्ट्स इंक्रीजिंग इन इट्स सर्कमफेरेंस, इट स्टार्ट्स इंक्रीज इट इज ग्रोथ, दैट ग्रोथ और दैट इंक्रीज इन ग्रोथ और दैट इंक्रीज इन सर्कमफेरेंस or that increase in it is what we call as the circumference, that is called as the secondary growth. अब प्राइमरी ग्रोथ में हम क्या देखते हैं, इट mainly takes place by means of the, वो किससे हो जाती है, by means of the meristematic tissues, and those meristematic tissues are mainly found at the tip of the stem, and they are found at the tip of the root. While as this secondary growth, it takes place by means of the by means of the lateral meristems, and we have got mainly two types of the lateral meristems. These are also meristems, but they are the meristems which are found on the lateral side, which are found on the sideways, and we have got mainly two types of the lateral meristems. First one is called as the vascular cambium, and the second one is called as the chorocambium. As the name indicates, vascular cambium, this secondary growth, the secondary growth that take place within the stellar system, that is from the endoderms up to the pith, that forms the vascular bundle, the vascular system, the stellar system, that is called as the intravascular growth, intervascular growth, and the growth which takes place outside this vascular bundle, that is called as extravascular growth or vascular growth. अब हम बात देखेंगे बेटा, यहाँ की ओर इसको कर लो। दिस आर द वस्कुलर बंडल, दिस इज द वस्कुलर बंडल बेटा, this is the xylem and this is the phloem. This reddish color is the xylem, this is the phloem, this is the xylem, this is the phloem, this is the xylem, this is the, and in between there we will see there is the pith. Now what happens in the vascular cambium? These vascular bundles, that is the xylem and phloem, they are separated by means of a uniserate cells that is called as this cambium. That is called as cambium, and this cambium in that is called the vascular cambium, and this cambium in the initial stages of the development it occurs in patches. You will find that patches. It is not continuous beta, it is in patches. In between the vascular bundles what we will see, यहाँ पर इसके बीच में इस vascular bundle और इस vascular bundle के बीच में, here we will see, what we will see, there are the patches of parenchymatous cells. These parenchymatous cells, that is called as the medullary rays, and these medullary rays they became meristematic. And they form this, they helps us in increasing this, what we call as this growth को, इस cambium को वो continuous कर लेता है, and it forms a continuous ring that is called as the, what we call as, this is called as the cambial ring. This is called as cambial ring. Now this cambium which is in the initial stage, in the primary growth, this xylem and phloem, these are separated by this cambium. This vascular bundle is called as the open vascular bundle. जो यहाँ पर हम ये देखते हैं, this, it is called as intrafascicular parenchyma. So this intrafascicular cambium, it is called as intrafascicular cambium. Now अब जो यहाँ पर हम देखते हैं between these, what we will call this, when this ring becomes continuous, that is called as interfascicular cambium. क्योंकि ये कंटिन्यूस किससे बन जाता है, when this medullary rays they become meristematic, they start dividing, mainly the parenchymatous cells they start dividing, and they help us in completing this ring. If you see like in this, the whole ring is formed, it is called as the interfascicular cambium, and in between this is called as the, what we call as the intrafascicular cambium. Now this cambium ring, it starts, what we will see, it cuts off cells both inwards as well as outwards. Yeah, it starts differentiation. This cambial ring, it starts differentiating cells both inwards towards the pith and towards the periphery. अब यहाँ पर हम देखते हैं कि जो कैम्बियल रिंग के जो होते हैं, जो सेल जो होते हैं, they are more active when they form this, जो xylem है, जो primary xylem and the cells of these they differentiated toward the inside, they give rise to this secondary xylem, and this primary xylem it is pushed towards the pith. As we already know, जो pith जो होता है, it is mainly parenchymatous cells. There are some cellular spaces, there are intercellular spaces between them. Or when it starts to differentiate outside, it gives, ये तो primary phloem है, अब हम ये तो primary phloem is pushed towards periphery, and in its place it is replaced by this secondary phloem. Now यह देखा गया है कि जो cambium ring है, it is more active towards the, किसकी जो activity ज़्यादा है, it is towards the xylem, and it is less active towards this phloem, towards the periphery. अब जो प्रेशर अंदर से गुजर गया, when the more secondary xylem are formed, प्रेशर जो हो गया, प्रेशर यहाँ से भी आ गया, प्रेशर यहाँ से भी आ गया, these phloem cell जो होते हैं, primary phloem cell, they become somewhat, what we will call as crushed. They become somewhat crushed, and they become somewhat crushed, और ये वाला जो secondary xylem है, ये वहां पर ही रह जाता है. अब हम क्या यहाँ पर हमने देखा कि सेकेंडरी जाइलम इट इज मोर प्रोमिनेंट, जहां पर हम तो कैम्बेल एक्टिविटी वो बहुत ज्यादा होती है एज कंपेयर टू दैट ऑफ दिस सेकेंडरी फ्लोएम। जो सेल जो होते हैं वो बहुत कम बन जाते हैं, वो बन जाते हैं, लेकिन उनकी एक्टिविटी जो कैम्बेल रिंग की एक्टिविटी आउटसाइड या टुवर्ड्स पेरिफेरी वो बहुत कम होती है। अब जो अंदर से प्रेशर बहुत ज्यादा आता है, यहाँ से भी प्रेशर आता है, यहाँ से भी प्रेशर, यहाँ से भी, 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 दीज प्राइमरी फ्लोएम जो ये वाले होते हैं दे आर बीइंग क्रश्ड डाउन। इसके बाद क्या हमने देखा कि जो कैम्बेल एक्टिविटी होती है, इसकी जो एक्टिविटी होती है इट मेनली डिपेंड्स अपॉन वेरियस फैक्टर्स लाइक द इंटरनल फैक्टर दैट इज द फिजियोलॉजिकल फैक्टर एज वेल एज सम एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स विच आर मेनली द एनवायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स। इफ वी टॉक ऑफ द टेम्परेट रीजन वेयर वी विल सी दैट जो टेम्परेट आउटसाइड फैक्टर जो एनवायरमेंटल फैक्टर्स है दे आर डिमार्केटेड, वो बहुत दे आर वेरी मच विजुअलाइज्ड, वो हमको अच्छी तरह से दिखाई देते हैं। अब उस टेम्परेचर में हम क्या देखते हैं ड्यूरिंग द स्प्रिंग सीजन, उस वक्त हम देखते हैं कि जो कैम्बियम होता है इट इज हाईली एक्टिव। उस वक्त क्या होता है, कैम्बियम जो होता है इट इज हाईली एक्टिव। उस वक्त जो हम देखते हैं सेकेंडरी जाइलम सेल जो होते हैं वो ज्यादा बन जाते हैं। And that wood, what is this wood? Second, it is mainly the wood जो secondary xylem जो होता है, that wood is called as the spring wood or that is called as the early wood. Now दूसरी बात, जब हम ऑटम की ओर चले जाते हैं एट दैट टाइम जो एक्टिविटी कैम्बियम की होती है वो बहुत कम होती है, इट इज़ नॉट टू मच एक्टिव। जैसे हम देखते हैं सर्दियों के मौसम में हम वी डिड नॉट रिमेन टू मच एक्टिव, सेम इज द केस हियर व्हाट वी विल सी इन केस ऑफ दिस ऑटम जो कैम्बियम होता है इट डज नॉट रिमेन टू मच एक्टिव एंड हियर वी विल सी जो वुड जो उस वक्त बन जाता है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द लेट वुड, that is called as the late wood. अब हम जो secondary xylem during the early या during the spring जो बन जाते हैं they are long, उनमें जो vessel जो होते हैं they are somewhat broad और वो thin भी होते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम late में देखते हैं या autumn wood की बात करें वहाँ पर जो xylem vessel जो होते हैं वो thin होते हैं, they are thick, और वो vessel जो they are narrow. Now we will see in the year two rings are formed. टू रिंग्स आर फॉर्म, एक है वो रिंग जो कंप्लीट बन जाती है ड्यूरिंग द स्प्रिंग सीजन दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द अर्ली वुड, और एक हमारे पास बन जाता है ड्यूरिंग द autumn season that is called as the autumn wood or that is called as the late wood. And these two rings they are a sort of the concentric rings, they are a sort of the concentric rings, and these two rings they together, now these two rings they are formed during a year, these two rings are together called as the annual rings. And these two rings अगर हम बात कर लेंगे these two rings they can be used to determine the age of a plant, क्योंकि एक रिंग जो होती है स्प्रिंग जो एनुअल रिंग बन जाती जो है द स्प्रिंग वुड एंड द ऑटम वुड दे आर फॉर्म्ड ड्यूरिंग अ ईयर, दीज आर टू कंसेंट्रिक रिंग्स एंड दीज कंसेंट्रिक रिंग्स जो होते हैं दे डिटरमाइन दे टुगेदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूट एनुअल रिंग बिकॉज दीज टू रिंग्स दे आर फॉर्म्ड ड्यूरिंग अ पर्टिकुलर ईयर एंड दीज रिंग्स दे डिटरमाइन द एज ऑफ द प्लांट. एंड नाउ देयर इज द साइंस, देयर इज द ब्रांच ऑफ एनाटॉमी दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द डेंड्रोक्रोनोलॉजी which is used which is study where we can study how we can study the what will be called as the age of the plant. Now this was the internal, that was vascular cambium, how it helps us in the growth of the plant. Now outside the vascular cambium what we will see there is the cortex. Now this cortex again it helps us in what we call as the secondary growth, it helps us in the secondary growth. जो कॉर्टेक्स होता है, जो कॉर्टेक्स होता है here again what we will see it helps us in the secondary growth. We will find and that secondary growth in the cortex it takes place by means of the tissue that is called as the periderm, and this periderm it consists of phloem, it consists of phloem, it consists of phloderm. फैलम का एक और नाम है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द कॉर, फेलोजन का नाम है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द कोरोकैंडियम, एंड फेलोडर्म का एक और नाम है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द सेकेंडरी कॉर्टेक्स. एंड दीज थ्री tissues, they together constitute a single name that is called as the periderm. Now, in the cortex, what we will see below the epidermis, some of these parachimatous cells they become meristematic. They become meristematic, and they start differentiating. And that which become meristematic, that forms a ring, and that is called as the corocambium, or that is simply called as the phallogen. Some cells below the epidermis, what we will see below the epidermis, उसमें क्या हो जाता है कि that they are simply the parenchymatous cell, they now become the meristematic cells, and they start differentiating the cells outside as well as inside towards the endodermis, and that ring जो बन जाता है वहां पर, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द कोरोकैम्बियम. अब इस कोरोकैम्बियम के जो सेल्स बाहर की ओर बन जाता है, दैट फॉर्म्स दिस कॉक, और जो अंदर की ओर बन जाता है, दैट फॉर्म्स दिस सेकेंडरी कॉर्टेक्स, और वी कैन कॉल इट एज ए फैलोडर्म. This corocambium, when it differentiates, it cuts off the cells, it becomes meristematic, it cuts off cells both outside as well as inside. The cells which are formed outside, that is called as the phellum, or that is called as the core, and the cells which are differentiated towards the inner side, that is called as phalloderm, or that is called as the secondary cortex. Now, अब जो प्रेशर और ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगा, अब दिस प्रेशर इट इज नाउ एक्सर्टेड ऑन दिस एपिडर्मिस. एपिडर्मिस में क्या हो जाता है कि सम सेल्स दे स्टार्ट रप्चरिंग, and what we will see, those small pores, these are called as lenticels. अब जो प्रेशर ज्यादा आ गया, these प्रेशर जो एक्सर्ट ज्यादा हो गया, कि इसका असर हम किस पर और देखते हैं, हाइपोडर्मस और एपिडर्मिस. जो एपिडर्मिस होता है, it here and there it starts rupturing, it is cells, they become somewhat separate from each other, and those small pores which are created, those are called as lenticels, and these lenticels, they help us in the exchange of gases. Because this epidermis, this layer, it has got a direct contact with the outer atmosphere, and this what we will call as, here we will see the exchange of gases, they can take place. Now we will see, we have got one more topic that is called as the bark. All the dead cells. What is the bark? Bark is simply composed of the dead cells, and those dead cells, they are composed of the cells of this phalloderm. Phalloderm cell, ताकि हम कहेंगे simply the corocambium, phallogen भी इसमें आता है. The cells lying outside the phallogen, that is this corocambium, they together constitute the bark of the plant. और इस bark में even की जो हमारे पास जो secondary phloem तक भी इसमें आ सकता है. And this bark जो है, it is protective in nature, it is insect repellent, and it acts as a heat screen. Now we have got some types of woods. एक और हमारे पास है, that is called as this heartwood, and we have got this sapwood, SAPs, heartwood and sapwood. What happens in the heartwood? Heart की अगर हम बात करेंगे, this first one, this heartwood, it is found towards this center, which is somewhat darker in color. वहाँ पर जो डेनिस्ट हम देखते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. It is found towards the center. Here we will see this heartwood. It is dark in color because of the deposition of some रेजिनस. वहाँ पर हम देखते हैं एरोमेटिक सब्सटेंसेस वहाँ पर होते हैं, रेजिनस होता है, आयोलेज होता है, गम्स होते हैं, एंड दिस इज मेनली नॉन कंडक्टिविटी इन नेचर. दूसरी अगर हम बात करेंगे, दिस सैपवुड, इट इज फाउंड आउटसाइड, विच आर मेनली द लिविंग सेल्स. इट इज दैट सेल विच हेल्प्स अस इन द कंडक्शन ऑफ द वाटर. एंड हियर अगेन वी विल सी, यहाँ पर हम ये देखते हैं कि जो वेसल्स होते हैं, दे आर मेनली फाउंड देयर. Heartwood जो होता है, it simply gives the mechanical support to the water. It is darker in color. और this sapwood जो होता है, it is lighter in color. Now we have got one more type of the wood, that is called as the porous and the non-porous wood. In case of the non-porous wood, what we will see, that is mainly found जो wood, or we can call it as a secondary xylem, which is mainly found in the gymnosperms. वहाँ पर हम क्या देखते हैं कि gymnosperms में हम क्या देखते हैं, इनके जिम्नोस्पर्म में हम क्या देखते हैं कि इन केस ऑफ जिम्नोस्पर्म दैट वुड इज मेनली द सॉफ्ट वुड, हियर वी विल सी जो सॉफ्ट वुड में होता है इट लैक्स द वेसल्स, वहां पर वेसल जो होते हैं दैट इज नॉट फाउंड, एंड दैट टाइप ऑफ वुड जो होता है दैट इज मेनली नॉन पोरस, वो क्या होता है दैट इज मेनली नॉन पोरस। और दूसरी बात जो हम देखते हैं इन केस ऑफ द एंजियोस्पर्म और इन केस ऑफ द डाइकोटिलिडनस व्हाट वी विल सी, जो वुड हमारे पास होती है दैट इज मेनली पोरस, वो कैसी होती है पोरस होती है, एंड इट इज मेनली मेड अप ऑफ द वेसल्स, इट इज मेनली मेड अप ऑफ द वेसल्स। अब दोनों की अगर हम बात कर लेंगे, जो सैप वुड और हार्ट वुड इट कैन बी डिस्टिंग्विश्ड इजिली बाय मीन्स ऑफ अ हैंड लेंस। अगर हम ट्रांसवर्सल सेक्शन देखेंगे एक स्टेम का, वहां पर हम ये देखते हैं कि जो सैपवुड होता है इसके हम देखते हैं कि कंपोजिशन जो है मेनली इट कंसिस्ट ऑफ 95% जो सेल्स इसमें पाई जाती है दे आर मेनली द ट्रैकिड्स, व्हाइल एज इन केस ऑफ द व्हाट वी कॉल एज द पोरस वुड, वहां पर हम ये देखते हैं कि दैट इट मेनली कंसिस्ट, जो मेजर पोर्शन ऑफ द सेल्स है दैट इज मेनली व्हाट वी विल कॉल्ड एज दिस वेसल्स। That is all for today. Rest okay. God bless you.